Today, we're diving into something that, let's be honest, has become an incredibly common and incredibly difficult part of modern life. We're going to talk about navigating the world of online outrage, and we're going to break down what happens when a simple call for facts clashes with a huge demand for feeling. Let's get right into it.
You've been there, right? A story just explodes online. It's powerful, it's emotional, it's everywhere. And you just pause for a second. You ask, hey, wait, do we know if this is the full story? Can we actually verify this? And bam, suddenly you're the bad guy. You're the one who doesn't care. Why does that happen? Let's unpack that feeling.
All right, first up, let's talk about the symptom, something I think we all recognize instantly. We'll call it the outrage reflex. It's this powerful, almost automatic social force that really shapes how we all talk to each other, or more often mistalk to each other, especially when emotions are running hot.
So here's how it usually starts. A heart-wrenching story. Maybe it's got a shocking photo or a gut punch of a video clip, and it just goes viral. And immediately, the battle lines are drawn. The expectation isn't just that you feel something, it's that you feel the right thing, you say it publicly, and you do it right now. The pressure to join that big chorus of outrage, it's just immense.
And that leads us right to the heart of the problem, the social cost of being careful. In these moments, the most logical, the most rational thing you can do, which is to just pause and think, is somehow treated like a moral crime. So, let's explore why that is.
This right here, this is the massive communication gap we fall into. You think you're being responsible. You're saying, hey, let's make sure our compassion is pointed in the right direction. You're trying to care wisely, but what the other person hears is something totally different. They hear, let's hit the brakes on caring. They hear, your pain, their pain, it's just not important enough for me to deal with right now.
So why does that caution feel like a direct attack? Well, because your request for facts can feel like you're questioning someone's real, genuine pain. Or worse, it can be seen as a cowardly way to do nothing. Sometimes it's even perceived as you secretly siding with the bad guys. And in a group that's built on this powerful feeling of shared outrage, any doubt, any hesitation feels like disloyalty. You're basically disrupting a very powerful, unifying emotional current, and that feels hostile.
Okay, so we've looked at the symptom. We get it, we've all seen it. Now let's move on to the diagnosis. What are the deeper forces that are actually driving these super intense knee-jerk reactions? Turns out, there are a few key psychological and social things going on under the surface.
First, there's something we can call trauma-conditioned communication. Now, what does that mean? Well, when people or entire groups have gone through real pain, real betrayal, a totally logical request for facts isn't heard as a question. It gets filtered through all that past trauma, and it lands like an attack. It sounds like you're saying, I don't believe your pain is real. It triggers a defensive, emotional response, not a thinking one.
The second piece of the puzzle is binary thinking. You know this one. It's the classic, if you're not with us, you're against us mindset. It's a mental shortcut that just throws all complexity out the window in favor of simple, easy, tribal boxes. And in this worldview, nuance isn't a sign that you're being thoughtful. No, it's a threat. It's a sign of betrayal to the group.
And third, we absolutely have to talk about moral performance culture. Social media especially has created this arena where we earn our social capital, our sense of belonging, by performing how good we are. And this system rewards speed. It rewards being loud. It rewards the performance of outrage, not the quality or accuracy of your judgment.
So let's just connect the dots here. You've got trauma conditioning making everyone defensive. You've got binary thinking that just erases any middle ground. And then you have this moral performance culture that gives a gold star to whoever screams the loudest, the fastest. And the result? You get a communication landscape where a sincere, honest call for truth gets you punished as a traitor.
But, and this is a really important pivot, this is where we find our power. Because precision is not betrayal, and nuance is not weakness. Actually, in today's world, nuance is your superpower. It's a profound form of moral strength. Let me show you what I mean.
Let's do a little thought experiment. Imagine two scenarios. Both are undeniably, gut-wrenchingly horrific. In one, a tragedy happens because of, say, years of reckless neglect and systemic failure. In the other, a tragedy happens because one person intentionally set out to cause harm. Both outcomes are terrible, but are they the same?
Both are horrific. So why in the world does this distinction matter? I mean, if the end result is pain and loss, who cares about the details of how it happened? Why should we split hairs when people are suffering?
Because how we understand a problem determines everything about how we try to solve it. This is why nuance is the bedrock of real justice. It's how you make sure there's correct accountability. After all, you fix reckless policy differently than you hold an individual accountable for malice. Nuance protects the truth from being twisted and used as a weapon. It's really the only path to creating meaningful, lasting change that actually works. It's how you keep your moral integrity when the pressure is on.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we get there when it feels like the whole world is screaming? It can feel overwhelming, for sure, but there is a path. Think of this next part as a kind of prescription for a healthy, clear mind in the middle of all the outrage.
Here's a practical 4-step framework that any of us can use. First, acknowledge your emotion. Feel it. It's real, but don't let it drive the car. Pause and separate what you feel from what you actually know. Step 2, we have to normalize saying, I need more information. This isn't weakness, it's intellectual strength. Step 3, get comfortable holding multiple truths at once. A situation can be deeply tragic, and the story about it can be misrepresented. Both can be true at the same time. And finally, step 4. In your own life, start rewarding thoughtfulness over instant reaction. In yourself and in the people around you.
And let me be absolutely 100% clear on this. None of this is an argument for being detached or apathetic. It's the exact opposite. This is not about refusing to care. It's about committing to care wisely, to care effectively and with integrity. It's about making sure that our compassion actually leads to real justice and not just more heat and more noise.
And we'll end with this thought, because it just perfectly captures both the challenge and the solution. The integrity of our response, our real, meaningful response, demands that we can tell the difference between these three things: what we actually know for a fact, what we feel in our gut, and what we choose to accuse someone of. That discipline, that's what separates moral clarity from just being part of a mob.